I do not cooperate with enemy. I'm not traitor.
The traitor is the man who blew up your sub.
The story kicks off in the Barents Sea, Russia, where the LA-class hunter ship of the United States, also known as the Tampa Bay, is secretly following the Russian Federation ship, also known as the Konek.
Captain, holding Russian cooler at 400 yards, best bearing 0.
The mission seems to be going well until Konek gets hit.
Captain, explosion aboard the Konek.
While Tampa Bay is trying to understand the situation, one of their men notices that they are about to be torpedoed.
Torpedo in the water, bearing 335 at 600 yards.
They try to evade it with their captain making calls for them to hide, and also asking if the torpedo is coming from the Konek, but they realize the torpedo is coming from above them.
Hard rudder! Terminal homing!
They are not able to avert the torpedo and are hit. At the National Military Command Center, Admiral John Fisk, the head of the Pentagon Squad, is briefed by the captain on the recent events of Tampa Bay. He informs the admiral that they've gone missing, and Fisk notes that they've been playing cat and mouse with a Russian ship for weeks.
Yes, sir, they've been playing cat and mouse with a Russian sub for weeks.
And they should just hope it's nothing serious. The captain then made Fisk realize that they had not done the routine check-in for about 2 hours now, and this leaves Fisk in shock. Fisk immediately notified Charles Donovan, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, of the recent happenings.
Tampa Bay's gone missing in the Barents Sea.
He suggests to Donovan that they use Joe Glass, a U.S. submarine captain, to head the USS Submarine Arkansas in the investigation of the missing Tampa Bay. It is the first time Glass will be captaining a submarine, but Fisk has confidence in him. On the other hand, innocent Joe Glass is on vacation in Scotland, hunting deer, when he is called to take on the mission. He went back to the base. XO Brian Edwards, the executive officer of the submarine USS Arkansas, approached him
Orders from 6th Fleet
and gave him a sealed document. After reading the document, he orders XO to recall the crew so that they can sail as soon as possible. XO is skeptical about this because they had just been given a 2-day holiday, so the crew will be impossible to find. Glass suggests they search the 2 pubs in the area, and XO agrees. The crew soon began getting ready for their mission. They talk about the rumors they have heard about Glass.
Punch commanding officer.
Yeah.
From never being a captain to punching his commanding officer in the face, the story went on. Glass, on the other hand, is inspecting the ship, checking on the crew in the process. When he got to the bridge of the ship, he addressed them. He let them know he is just like them. He started small, from manning a sonar to cleaning torpedo tubes.
I know you better than your previous officer.
And he has lived on the ship for most of his life. He has missed 5 elections, 7 Super Bowls, his sister's wedding, and even his father's death.
In the tightest ship you've ever seen, you're dead wrong.
He also informed them of the reason why they were called back from their 2-day holiday. He informed them about the missing Tampa Bay, and the whole crew showed concern. He then tells a concerned XO to commence the operation. Back at the Military Command Center, Miss Jane Norquist, a senior NSA analyst,
briefing the president in under an hour, and you Navy boys are not sharing.
Visits Admiral Fisk to ask for information, because she will be briefing the president in less than an hour.
For the chairman of Joint Chiefs, not the NSA, Miss Norquist.
Fisk, in turn, tells her that he works for the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and not the NSA. He later informs her of the situation at hand, showing her that 2 ships were torpedoed, but is not sure if the other ship belongs to Russia, and asks if she has any information from Russia.
Have you reached out to your Russian counterparts? What are they saying?
She chose to be tight-lipped about it, making Fisk see her as sly. She instead asks for the time the explosions happened, and senses foul play after learning of the time.
What's wrong?
She briefed Fisk that something bad might be looming, because the president of Russia had left for a scheduled meeting with his defense minister in the area of the explosion.
He left before the 2 explosions.
Just before the 2 explosions happened. Fisk assures her they will get to the bottom of the matter, as he has already sent a submarine, but but Jane takes him to a secluded corner to tell him to dispatch some members of the Air Force to Russia to try to understand the situation, because she thinks Russia might want to invade America.
Yes, I do.
An Air Force team led by Beeman is recruited for this secret mission.
Crew's on board and ready to go, sir.
The USS Arkansas submarine dives into the sea to begin its operation. And as this is ongoing, the president of Russia, President Nikolai Zakharin,
Welcome to Palermo, Mr. President.
meets with his Minister of Defense, Dmitry Durov, at the Polyamory Command Center in Russia. The first question he asked Dmitry was if Washington had made contact, and Dmitry replied that they were waiting for him to arrive before they responded. The submarine enters the Russian waters, and they begin searching for the missing Tampa Bay
Deploy C-scan. Aye, Captain.
by deploying a C-scan into the sea. The C-scan shows them the wrecked Tampa Bay and the people on it dead and floating. They saw that it was torpedoed,
Cobman battle station.
and they immediately got ready for any possible battle that may want to come their way, because they believed it was Russia's doing. Glass also informed their commo to draft a message stating that the USS Tampa Bay had been sunk by enemy action.
Engine room captain rigged for maximum reliability.
One of the sonars, named Belford, interrupts Glass by telling him he is picking up some sounds. After hearing the sound, Glass asks if it is from Tampa Bay, but Belford shakes his head. Glass then orders them to check where the sound is coming from,
Contact, Captain. Detecting auxiliary noises overhead.
and they discover it is coming from a Russian submarine. The Russian submarine, too, simultaneously discovers them
Fire torpedoes 1 and 2.
and immediately fires torpedoes at them.
Torpedoes in the water!
They fired at us?
The US submarine immediately evades the torpedoes. They tried to counterattack by firing torpedoes back at the Russian submarine, but it did not reach them because of the ice interference.
Search depth to 40 feet.
Reduce depth to 40 feet.
They try another means and succeed this time around, hitting the Russian submarine right in the middle, causing it to explode. But the Russian submarine has already released torpedoes already,
Captain, enemy torpedoes still active and closing.
and they try to evade it, causing the torpedoes to hit Tampa Bay instead, further destroying the poor Tampa Bay. After narrowly escaping, Exo shakily asks Glass if they have just started a war. Glass replied, telling him no, but they might just sail into one. Belford, the hearing master, again calls Glass's attention
Somebody's still down there, sir.
to a sound he is hearing. Reports reach President Zakharin and Minister Durov that their submarine has been hit.
What the hell are the Americans doing?
President Zakharin wonders what the Americans are thinking about doing such a thing, while Minister Durov advises him to respond immediately in order to protect the sovereignty of Russia, and recommends launching Yevchenko, a powerful warship, to sweep the American submarines. President Zakharin does not take his advice
I want to speak with the American president.
and wants to speak with the American president instead. Admiral Fisk also receives a report from the submarine
Without enough sense to get out of the way.
and immediately notifies Donovan, who advises that they move the closest carrier battle group into position to be on alert. On the other hand, the Air Force crew also lands in Russia to begin their operation. Glass and his crew begin to investigate what happened between Tampa Bay and Konek.
Tampa Bay didn't fire on anyone.
They discover that Tampa Bay did not fire any torpedoes, and that Kovac torpedoed itself. It was like a suicide mission. They hear sounds coming from inside the Kovac, and Glass suggests they go and check if anyone is alive on it.
That's touch and go, sir.
Reed, one of the crew members, reminds Glass in case he forgot that that was the same submarine that took down Tampa Bay, and Glass dismisses him, stating they were just following somebody's orders. Exo try to convince Glass that what he is trying to make them do is dangerous,
We don't know what's going on up top.
but Glass tell him that they have no idea of what is going on at the top, and for the Russians to abandon their own in the ocean. Something might be going on that they are not aware of.
Who, for all we know, just sunk Tampa Bay.
If Exo likes, he can draft a message to inform the higher authorities, but he is not waiting for their answer.
I want those Russian sailors out of there.
They proceed to save the Russians and bring them into their submarine. They look frozen upon arrival.
I'm Commander Glass of USS Arkansas.
Glass introduces himself to them, but their captain replies in Russian, knowing fully well he is on an American ship. Glass requests that they be treated for hypothermia under heavy guidance, and that the captain should be separated from the rest of them.
Separate the captain from his men.
The Air Force team makes it to the Polyamory Command Center and watches what they are doing from their hideout. They are also reporting it back to the Military Command Center, but as they get closer, they lose signal.
Why aren't we getting a clear picture?
Something's giving us interference.
On the other hand, President Zakharin is trying to make a call to both Washington and Moscow, and is informed that all cellular channels have been blocked, leaving the president worried about what is going on.
What's going on?
Jane informs them of a secret frequency they use at the NSAOR to get in, and it worked. They continue watching what is going on in Russia. They see Durov outside,
Durov, Russian Minister of Defense.
and also see President Zakharin on the balcony, trying to make some calls, and wonder what both of them are up to. While President Zakharin was trying to get signals on the balcony, he saw the destroyer being launched, and went back inside to ask why they were doing that.
Why are they launching the destroyer?
Just in time, Minister Durov enters, informing the president that he has now taken matters into his own hands, because they may be under threat from an imminent attack. He informs the president that he has sealed off the base,
Down all communications as a security precaution.
shut down all communications as a form of security precaution, and spoken to the president's cabinet that the president is indisposed and is in his care.
Military won't follow your orders. They have no choice.
So they believe any other he gives comes from the president himself. Minister Durov's men held the president captive and even shot his aides into the sea. Both the Air Force team and the people at the Military Command Center saw this live and realized it's a coup.
I need to brief the president.
The President of the United States is briefed about this in a quick meeting.
What about reaching out to the Russian military directly?
Donovan suggests they go all out on them,
Somebody makes a move on a chessboard, you respond.
while Fisk suggests they free President Zakharin from Minister Durov. The president gives both of them the go-ahead, but gives Fisk's suggestion priority because she wants to do anything in her power to avoid this leading to a war.
Rescue attempt is my authorization as well.
Glass briefs his men on the latest situation. They will be going to the Russia base to get President Zakharin and the Air Force team, and they will begin the operation of entering Russia. XO informs Glass that the way there is like a minefield is covered with sensors and sonar field, and it will be too dangerous for them.
Won't be enough to get us through undetected.
Glass assures him that he is aware, and that is why they will be using a local navigator, who in this case is the Russian captain they previously saved. Glass meets with the captain
We've crossed paths before, you and I.
and tells him to stop pretending, because he knows he can speak again, and the captain cusses at him.
We did not fire on your submarine, Captain.
Glass explains to him about how his submarine was sabotaged, and he will be needing his help. The captain refused at first because it would make him a traitor,
The traitor is the man who blew up your sub.
but later agreed to help after understanding what was at stake. Back at the Polyamory, Minister Durov is briefed on an unauthorized transmission that is coming from near their base, and he orders them to find it. Durov's men proceeded to search the area, but did not find anything. They shot into the air, and it hit one of the Air Force team named Johnstone. When they left, the other men rallied around Johnstone to see the extent of the wound. It was Beeman who briefed them that they would have to save President Zakharin, and the U.S. Navy would come to rescue them.
U.S. sub up here? Yeah. There's a catch.
He also tells Martinelli, another member of his team, to stay behind as he has a special mission for him.
XO, take her in nice and slow.
Glass and his men proceed into Murmansk Fjord in Russia and warn them to be very quiet in order not to alert the Russians.
Cross waters that no American sub has ever crossed.
The Russian captain teaches them a shortcut to pass. The Air Force team also proceeds
The next Russian president takes a quick refreshing swim and then...
to enter the polyamory by swimming, and they meet Oleg, one of President Zakharin's aides, who survived the attack, who promised to get them to the president after they discussed and understood how serious the situation is. Together, they break into the polyamory and start a gunfight. They got the president out, but one of the Air Force men lost his life. Oleg also did not make it, but he had a satisfying death. With a smile on his face, he gave them the middle finger as they riddled bullets into his body. The rest of them, including President Zakharin, escape into the ocean. They got to the other side, but the Russian soldiers were waiting for them. They began shooting at them, and even President Zakharin got injured. Martinelli begins shooting at them with a sniper rifle from a distance. A submarine has been sent by Glass to get them, and they escape into it. Only President Zakharin and Beeman made it into the submarine.
Hey, where are the others?
And when Beeman discovered this, he left the president in the submarine and returned to get the rest, leaving the crew members sent to get them shocked. Minister Durov is informed that his president has escaped,
Seal the fjord!
and he sends Yevchenko to sink the submarine to prevent them from escaping.
Captain, I'm picking up a faint 300 hertz tonal, heavy screw.
When Glass discovers, the Russian captain informs him that the ship is a destroyer, and they will not miss because he trained them himself, so they are in big trouble.
Launch rocket motors on the designated bearing.
The Yevchenko launches a missile at Glass's submarine, and it hits, causing major damage to the submarine.
Okay, bring me down to it. Do it quickly.
And they proceed to the hide. In the process of hiding, they lost communication with
IUSS has detected explosion.
the military command center. Donovan is very pissed after seeing how serious the trouble at hand is, and begins to lash out at Fisk for trying to play the Messiah. He thought the submarine had sunk.
Do you understand what you did?
If Russia's president dies at the hands of the United States, it is going to turn into a very big problem.
We kidnapped the Russian president and we killed him!
Because the whole world will think they kidnapped and killed him. Fisk and Jane become very worried. On the other hand, Beeman rescues Martinelli from the Russian soldiers and proceeds to take him to safety. The submarine is in disarray, and crew members are trying to fix it. Glass goes to check on President Zakharin, who asks to speak with his general. If he tells them the situation at hand, they will be able to stop Minister Durov. Glass lets him understand that if they rise to communication depth, he will not be alive to tell the story because of the warship.
What's the situation in the torpedo room?
It's bad, Captain.
The repair they are doing to the submarine attracts the warship,
The destroyers circle back and closing, Captain.
and they circle in on them. Realizing there is no way out, Glass asks the Russian captain with them to speak with the warship. Since he said he trained them and knows them very well, maybe they will listen to him if they know he is on board with them. The Russian president proceeded to address them by calling their names one by one, leaving them in shock. He told them to hold their fire, and now all he can do is hope that they listen and stay loyal to him. The submarine then came up to face the warship. Jane and Fisk immediately inform Donovan, who wonders why the captain is using his feelings to play ping pong. The captain of the warship orders them to launch an attack on the submarine.
Launch missile one on a submarine!
But the members refuse. Just in time, President Zakharin also addresses them, telling them to cease fire on the American submarine. Donovan hears this and is happy to know that the president is alive. Fisk orders that the audio file of the recording be sent to the Russian generals immediately. The captain of the warship informs Minister Durov of the crew's stubbornness, and the minister decides to take matters into his own hands. The minister proceeds to launch missiles at them from his own base.
Tomahawks 1 and 2 ready for launch.
Glass instructs them not to retaliate. A very silly decision, but he maintains his stance. They are very close to being hit when the warship steps in by firing its missile to defend the submarine. It is a beautiful sight to behold, leaving the crew members, who were very close to going to the afterlife, shocked. The next 2 missiles the warship launched destroyed the Polyamory Command Center, killing Minister Durov in the process. Glass and his crewmen sighed deeply, feeling relieved. Glass thanked the Russian captain, and President Zakari. The military command center also discovered the news that the coup had failed, and President Zakari is now giving orders from Glass's submarine. They applaud each other for a job well done. Jane and Fisk hug each other. Even Donovan gives Fisk the gentleman handshake. The Russian captain and Glass also bid each other goodbye. Beeman and Martinelli are also rescued. Beeman and Glass exchange pleasantries and banter with each other on their just concluded mission and return to the submarine. The end. Thank you for sticking to the end of my video. Please do me the biggest favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.